Welcome back. I'm Tricia Plevey with Canine Companions Rescue Center and the host of Petflix. Canine Companions Rescue Center is a nonprofit 501c3 corporation founded in 2004 for the purpose of working with the community and area animal control agencies to promote the adoption of dogs without families. It is our goal to rescue dogs with good family potential, and if our adopters and our dogs are both happier after the match, then we've done our job. Our special guest this week is Wendy Copera, founder and director of Canine Companions Rescue Center. I'm extremely excited to have you here.
Thank you.
To hear all about how Canine Companions Rescue Center was formed. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about what it was like when you first launched it. I mean, you're one of the original founders.
Yeah.
So give us some feedback and background on it.
All right. So I used to be in dog training. That's where I kind of started doing my interest in dogs, and it kind of evolved into also doing rescue. I was doing rescue for a number of years with a group in town, and Carl and Connie Fleck were also rescuing there.
Okay.
They had a lot of rescue experience, and at some point we all ended up not being a volunteer somewhere, and started to talk about what we could do to form our own rescue. Part of the reason we wanted to form one, and that we're no longer volunteering with other rescues, is we were hearing certain complaints from people. For example, rescues never call us back. Mm-hmm. There are too many hoops to jump through. We have to have a fenced yard. We can't adopt if we have kids. We can't adopt if we live in a certain type of home. And we had attended seminars specifically for rescue people, mm-hmm. where they talked about, why are we making this so difficult for people to adopt? Right. You want to find a good home for dogs. We're trying to get these dogs into homes. We're not trying to keep them out of homes. So we said, let's form a new rescue. Let's try to return people's calls. Let's try to get dogs into homes, and let's also be responsible to the community we're adopting into. So when we formed our logo, one of the things we were taking into consideration was not just let's rescue all the dogs and save all the dogs. It was also let's put good dogs into the community. So good dogs, good people. Mm-hmm. It was a match. It was a balance. It was both. So that's why we have the hand and the paw and the yin yang kind of thing going on. Yep. That's not something you always see focused in rescue. So again, it's just one of the little things we felt set us apart when we formed.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad to hear you say that about finding the right home for every dog, right? And I remember my mom was looking for a dog, and she's in Florida, and she can't even get a call back. Yeah. So just those simple things, the simple courtesy things, even if a dog's already adopted, just call everybody back and let them know and give them other choices. There's
no reason not to touch base with a person. Right. And oddly enough, when I moved to Arizona, I guess we should say this, after we formed the group, a few years after we formed the group, I moved away to Arizona, and I maintained my position on the board, and I maintained my various jobs with the rescue, including answering the phone. But when I moved there, I tried to adopt a dog and was denied.
I've got a fenced-in yard?
I did have a fenced-in yard, but the type of fencing they thought was the gaps in the fencing were too large for a puppy. Like I was going to throw a puppy out there and not watch it, or something. So yeah, I've even been denied with my training, with my rescue experience, with everything. I was denied a dog. So I know that frustration firsthand. I mean, this was after we had already formed, but yeah.
You've made it very user-friendly, I think, for the people that are looking to adopt.
Exactly. So. One of our goals, yep.
Excellent. Maybe tell us a little bit more about the volunteer opportunities that exist within Canine Companions Rescue Center.
So we don't have a facility. One of the things, from day one, we wanted to be a foster-based organization. Well, out of necessity. We didn't have the money to buy a facility. But we also thought it would be good to have the dogs in foster homes so that the fosters could be working with them and getting more information about their behavior in the home, house training, whatever, destructiveness, that kind of thing. So we started out strictly foster-based. For about 10 years, I'm backtracking just a little bit here, but I will get to that. For about 10 years, we were, again, like a lot of rescues when they begin, the focus is 100% on rescue and adopt. It's just pull dogs, adopt dogs. So we did that for about 10 years, and then finally started to think a little bit more outside the box. We want to expand. We want to provide some education to the community about doing research before you adopt a dog. Don't just walk in and pick the cute one. You've got to get an energy level that matches your household. You have to think about breed, personality traits sometimes. Some are more appropriate for certain households than others are. And so we wanted to provide that education. So now we have groups of people that will go out and speak at schools, talk to kids about dog bite prevention, about some of these other things I'm talking about.
Nice.
So that's a thing that we send people out into the community and do sometimes. I would say that is a volunteer opportunity, because we don't just send one person, we like to send 2 or 3, and we have different people that do that depending on the situation. Let's see, I just lost. I'm sorry. Okay. Take a breath, get my head back on straight.
Sure. So you had mentioned fostering and really getting to know like what the dogs are really like, and that's one of my primary things that I do with Canine Companions Rescue Center is I do a lot of fostering with the dogs, and I think it's so rewarding for our family to be able to foster and see what a dog's like, and then we can also, when we're talking to people at events about the dogs that are looking to adopt dogs, we have firsthand information that we can share as far as how a dog might fit in their environment because of what we've observed in our home with the foster.
Right.
So that is, and we just love having the dogs around too.
I do the same thing in Arizona. I foster. I do moms and litters primarily. Sometimes I take problem dogs as well. But yeah, that's very rewarding still to me. I couldn't, when I left here, I still wanted to have hands-on with the dogs, even though I was doing the stuff remotely for this group. I wanted to be hands-on with the dogs as well. Yeah. So one of the other things that we wanted to do was provide training advice to people, both leading up to an adoption and post-adoption. So there was myself and at least 2 other people in the group that have training experience. So we try to, if anybody, and really even if somebody calls that hasn't adopted from us and has a training question, I end up talking to them and trying to help them through it. Again, one of our goals is not just to rescue dogs, but to keep them from ever getting into a rescue situation.
Sure.
So when people are having training problems, if we can give them the answers that help them overcome that and keep their dog, that's a really wonderful thing, I think, to offer. We started, I know you've talked about the Pause Project program. I think that is just a monumentally cool thing that we have started to do. The people that call and say, we couldn't have done this without this help. We're so grateful. Our dog has been pregnant 3 times, and now we can, finally get it spayed or neutered. Right. And I think that's
affordable.
Yes, $20. Anybody can do that almost, And now we're offering the shots with it as well.
Yes.
And that's a thing that we don't even really talk probably enough about. But to me, growing from being just rescue and adopt to training and community outreach and Pause Project, that's cool. That's something that I'm very proud of as somebody who founded the group.
Well, it's kind of full circle, right?
Somewhat. Absolutely,
it's covering all the angles. Yeah. And I do just want to mention, now that you brought up Pause Project too, that Pause Project is completely full for October, but if you want more information about it, you can visit us at ccrcdogs.com, and we're going to start booking for November.
Yeah. So getting back to your training question, your volunteering opportunities question, I'm sorry, but yeah. So fostering is huge. We still, even though we sometimes even will board a dog if we don't have a place to put them, it's ideal for them to be in a foster home, interacting with a person on a daily basis. So fostering is huge, but a lot of people can't do that. It's not an option for whatever reason. So the second biggest need we have is helping out at events, because when we're doing our adoption events, we don't want the dogs all in crates barking at everybody walking by. That's not particularly appealing. Right. Not good for the dogs, not good for the people. Yeah. So if we can have people there that can hold those dogs on leashes and interact with the people that are coming to see them and answer questions, that's what we need. We need people that, because the fosters sometimes can't, they can get the dog to the show, but they can't hang around and answer questions, or we just have more dogs than we have handlers most of the time. So people who can hold a dog, especially bigger dogs, at these adoption events, that's a huge, huge need.
Is there an age limit? Do you have to be a certain age?
In order to volunteer on your own, you have to be 16.
Okay.
If somebody younger than 16 wants to volunteer and they have a parent or guardian willing to sign fill out the volunteer application, sign the waiver, and oversee that younger person at events, then absolutely they can help. They just have to have a person with them. Okay. But 16 and up, they can come and volunteer on their own.
Okay, perfect.
So helping at events, and A new thing that we just started this past year is the Levy Program. Is that something that we've ever talked about on the show?
We have not yet.
Okay, so the Levy Program is where we commit as a rescue to provide people at the stands at like Meadowbrook and the Palace and various venues. The ones that are selling the beer or the popcorn or the whatever.
Sure.
So we will pick an event and they will say to us, okay, this event requires 8 people or 12 people or 6 people or whatever it is. We pick out events in advance and we are now committed to manning that event.
And selling concessions, basically?
Exactly.
Okay.
Most of the time, that's pretty much exactly what it is. You're pouring drinks or you're serving popcorn. Okay. Yeah. It's not hard. It's just, it's several hours, evenings or weekends, but it's several hours. But the rescue gets, I don't remember the percentages, but we get a percentage of everything made at that stand that night.
Nice.
So it's just, our people are volunteering their time and we're getting a check back for it.
Okay.
That's another one of those things though that because it's a good chunk of time and a lot of times it begins, you know, maybe before the typical work day is necessarily done, it's tough to fill those spots. And when we sign up for this, we commit to do a certain number of them per year. So if there are people, and they have a blast, they have a really good time.
Sure, we get to hear the concert, right?
Yeah, you're going to the, exactly, you're at a concert, but our group gets along with each other, people, they get along with each other so well, they go there and they just have fun with it. So if you like to socialize, if you like to interact with people, if you like to go to concerts, if you like, you know, just like to help a rescue, there's another way you can do it, again, if maybe you can't foster or something like that.
Okay.
The last opportunity that I wanted to talk about today is we have, it is our philosophy when we're picking dogs out of animal control facilities that we pick the ones that are going to be an asset to the community or at least not a danger to the community.
Sure.
We don't adopt dangerous dogs. That being said, we get dogs and fairly often that have other things that make them maybe a little tougher to adopt.
Okay.
This happens somewhat frequently with mother dogs because we want to take pregnant and nursing dogs. We need to get puppies out of shelters. They shouldn't be in shelters.
Yeah.
So we don't just take the puppies and leave the mom there. We take the mom and the puppies. But unfortunately, a lot of the times, the mom is a poorly socialized animal. She's fearful. She's just not whatever. Not maybe sometimes they're really hyper. But they have something, not aggression, but something that makes them a little tougher to adopt. We still have made a commitment to that animal and we're going to see it through. So right at this moment we have several dogs that are either mothers or sometimes they're a return. It was adopted as a puppy, it got to be too much for the household, 2-3 years later it's back with us. They're not aggressive. We're not going to, you know, say that you're not adoptable, but it's a challenge for us to adopt those dogs. So at this particular moment we have, I don't know how many, but more than normal.
Yes.
So those dogs are taking up spaces, preventing us from going and pulling more dogs.
Right.
So when we have a dog with us for a fairly, you know, longer than a month, really. If we have a dog longer than a month, that's a long time. We would love to have people that could focus on those dogs, help us do better write-ups, get better pictures, maybe do a video of them, market them, make up flyers, do anything, come up, cute write-ups can be all the difference in the world for a dog's adoption. Like if they have a negative characteristic, I remember reading, it was so cute one time on Facebook, somebody had this total little jerk of a Chihuahua and they wrote it up like he's such a jerk, he does this and he does that, and it made it endearing, and the dog found a home. So sometimes you even just need to play up their weaknesses and make them, you know, people sometimes are challenged by a dog we have a couple right now that are very, very timid. You're going to be talking about them in our featured dogs. They're friendly, they're loving, they're house trained, they're all kinds of good things, get along with other dogs, but they're just very, very afraid. And so it's hard to adopt them because they don't go up and make friends with this person that's looking at them.
And I think sometimes people, the general public, can then think that maybe they might do something dangerous, like you know, or something like that. But they're not. They're very sweet.
Yes.
They're just scared.
They're just scared and don't know how to trust yet, or maybe just can't because of their history. So those kinds of dogs, if we could get a couple of volunteers whose whole purpose was to keep an eye on the write-ups that we have, the pictures we have, and really posting them to Facebook, sharing them with people, and really, really, really working on getting some of those tougher dogs adopted. That would be a huge help.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That would be great. I mean, that is the right job for somebody out there. And the other thing is just mass getting that information out to people, because there is a right home out there for every single one of those dogs.
Yes.
It's just that people don't know it yet because they don't know about the dogs.
And that may be because the right phrase isn't in that write-up, and it might be that right picture hasn't caught their eye, or they just haven't seen it, like you said. So the marketing, all of that whole package, if we had a few more people that could just kind of really make that their goal, I know we could move more of those dogs and again, just rescue more.
Great. Okay, excellent. And then we do want to talk about the featured dogs of the week that Wendy mentioned about. So we've got some pictures that we're going to show you of the featured dogs of the week. So our first pet of the week is Eve, and Eve is a mom. She came in off the streets. She has no aggression whatsoever. She's very shy though. She's wonderful with other dogs. Our second pet of the week is Willa. Willa was a dog that came in off the street as well. She was heartworm positive, and she is in kidney failure. She loves life, and she's wonderful with people. We are looking for an amazing home for Willa to see her last days through. So if your heart is calling for you to help with that, you can contact us at ccrcdogs.com, but we'd love to find her special home. Shyla, who's our next dog of the week, is also a street mom who came in off the street, had some puppies with us. She's timid around strangers, but she's wonderful with other dogs. She's obsessively affectionate, as Erica, one of our directors, would say, and once she warms up to you, she is obsessed with getting lots of love from you. So, and then lastly, we have Gypsy, who is a mom as well, shy around people, no aggression whatsoever, and she's also wonderful with other dogs. So those are all of our pets of the week. If you would like to learn more information about them, you can actually see their pictures. You can view their write-ups online at ccrcdogs.com. And I just want to thank you so much, Wendy, for being here today.
Thank you.
It was great to finally meet you and to hear all the wonderful information about CCRC. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Our pet tip of the week is be cautious of rodenticides and cold weather poisons. The use of rat and mouse poisons usually increase in the fall as rodents start to seek shelter from the cooler temperatures by attempting to move themselves indoors. These rodenticides are highly toxic to pets, and if they are ingested, the results could be fatal with your pet. So if you must use these types of products, please do so with extreme caution and put them in places inaccessible to your pets. Next, we have our upcoming events. I wanted to remind everyone that our 2018 calendars are finished. They do feature over 140 adorable dog photos throughout the calendar. For more information on our calendar, you can reach us at ccrcdogs.com. We also have our Barks for Bids coming up, which is an online auction. It's a holiday edition, so through our Facebook page, you can access it, and it will run from October 2nd through the 7th. We'll have over 75 items up for auction, so please visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com Canine Companions Rescue Center. We're so excited also to announce that Subaru of Grand Blanc has chosen CCRC for their Subaru Loves Pets event. So throughout the entire month of October, they'll be collecting donations and items from our wish list that we gave them. They're also hosting a kickoff event on Saturday, October 7th from 11 to 2 at their dealership in Grand Blanc. So please come and join us for a great afternoon full of fun. We hope to see you there. And please save the date for one last event, and that is on Saturday, October 14th from 10 to 3. Treats and Tail Wags will be held at Camp Bow Wow in Clarkston. We'll be hosting a super fun event to benefit CCRC, and a special thank you to Renee Rose Rescue Photography for coming to take all the photos of all the pets that get their photos taken that day. Please check out her Facebook page and give her a like for generosity at Camp Bow Wow, Clarkston, Michigan, Renee Rose Rescue Photography. Thank you so much for tuning in to Petflix today. We sincerely appreciate you and hope that you'll tune in next time for other exciting events, pet tips, and our pet of the week. And of course, if you have any ideas or suggestions for future episodes, we would love to hear from you at ccrcdogs.com. Thank you so much.